UK, there are more than 3 million lost pensions. At AJ Bell, we're on a mission to reunite you with yours. Open an account today and let us help find your long-lost pensions. AJ Bell.
And in the pockets of working people, that is my choice. Not to neglect Britain's energy security like the Tories did. Not to leave working families to bear the brunt of high prices like the Tories did, but to get energy costs down now and in the future. That is the Labour choice. And Madam Deputy Speaker, one more thing. Because of our action on bills and on prices, as a direct result of this budget, the Office for Budget Responsibility confirmed today that inflation is coming down faster and will be a full 0.4 percentage points lower next year. That's the benefit of a Labour government cutting the cost of living. Madam Deputy Speaker, this Labour government is changing our country. In the face of challenges on our productivity, I will grow our economy through stability, investment and reform. I've met my fiscal rules and built our economic resilience for the future. I have asked everyone to contribute, yes, for the security of our country and the brightness of its future. But I have kept that contribution as low as possible by reforming our tax system, making it fairer and stronger for the future. I have protected our NHS, maintaining public investment and driving efficiency in government spending. I've taken action on our broken welfare system, rooting out waste and lifting children out of poverty. And I have cut the cost of living, with money off bills and prices frozen, all while keeping every single one of our manifesto commitments. Those are my choices.
Mr. Rankin, Miss Moulton, your voice carries right across the chamber. Right across the chamber. Try and take a breath every so often. Chancellor.
Those are my choices. Not austerity, not reckless borrowing, but cutting the debt, cutting waiting lists, and cutting the cost of living. Those are Labour choices. Promised and delivered by this budget, promised and delivered by this Labour government. And Madam Deputy Speaker, I commend this statement to the House.
Standing Order number 51, the first motion entitled Provisional Collection of Taxes must be decided without debate. Will the Chancellor of the Exchequer please move formally? Chancellor, please move formally.
Formally.
The question is that pursuant to Section 5 of the Provisional Collection of Taxes Act 1968, provisional statutory effect shall be given to the following motions. Stamp duty reserve tax, UK listing relief, motion number 60. Rates of tobacco products duty, motion number 65. As many of their opinions say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. We now come to the motion entitled Income Tax Charge. It is on this motion that the debate will take place today and on the succeeding days. The questions on this motion and on the remaining motions will be put at the end of the budget debate on Tuesday, the 2nd of December. I call the Chancellor of the Exchequer to move the motion formally.
Formally.
The question is that income tax is charged for the tax year 2026-27, and it is declared that this, and is expedient in the public interest, that this resolution should have statutory effect under the provisions of the Provisional Collections of Taxes Act 1968. I now call the Leader of the Opposition. Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And may I congratulate
congratulate the Right Honourable Lady on delivering her second budget. I hope she enjoyed it because it really should be her last. What a total humiliation. A total humiliation. Last.
Can colleagues who are exiting the chamber do so swiftly so we can focus on the Leader of the Opposition? Swiftly exit, quietly. Right. Leader of the Opposition.
It's a total humiliation, Madam Deputy Speaker. Last year, she put up taxes by £40 billion, the biggest tax raid in British history. She promised that she wouldn't be back for more. She swore it was a one-off. She told everyone that from now on, it would be stability and she would pay for everything with growth. Today, she has broken every single one of those promises. If she had any decency, she would resign. At the last budget, she said she was proud to be the country's first ever female chancellor. After this budget, she will go down as the country's worst ever chancellor.
Order. And the Chief Whip in particular knows that we don't allow clapping in the chamber. Leader of the Opposition.
Today she has announced a new tax rate of £26 billion. They're all cheering. Household income is down. Spending policies in this budget increase borrowing in every year. That smorgasbord of misery we just heard from her can be summed up in one sentence. Labour are hiking taxes to pay for welfare. This is a budget for benefit street, Madam Deputy Speaker, paid for by working people. This budget increases benefits for 560,000 families by an average of £5,000. They are hiking taxes on workers, pensioners and savers to pay for handouts to keep their backbenchers quiet. These are the same, yes, they can chanter all they like. These are the same backbenchers, Madam Deputy Speaker, who cheered last year when she taxed jobs and left more than 100,000 people without an income. They cheered because they didn't understand the consequences of what they were doing, and they still don't. Madam Deputy Speaker, it's not been an easy time for the Chancellor. No one liked seeing her sitting on those benches as it dawned on her that her own backbenchers were going to do to her political career what she's done to our economy. But she could have chosen today to bring down welfare spending and get more people into work. Instead, she has chosen to put up tax after tax after tax, taxes on workers, taxes on savers, taxes on pensioners, taxes on investors, taxes on homes, holidays, cars, I think even milkshakes, taxes on anyone doing the right thing. She and this government have lost what little credibility they had left, and no one will ever trust her again. What's amazing, Madam Deputy Speaker, is that she has the nerve to come to this House and claim this is all someone else's fault. A laundry list of excuses. Yeah. Yes. Madam Deputy Speaker, they blame the Conservatives as if we've been sneaking into the Treasury under the cover of darkness to give pay rises to the unions. She inherited an economy with inflation at 2% and record high employment. She has tanked it in just over a year. Endless excuses. She blames Brexit. She blames Donald Trump. She needs to blame herself. And I've got some news for her. The Chancellor didn't seem to understand what the OBR was saying. Inflation is up, not down, and that inflation was stoked by her tax and spend decisions. The economic fiscal outlook says that they expect inflation to stay higher for longer. Everybody else has read it. She still hasn't read the OBR analysis. She blames higher than expected borrowing costs. Where does she think they came from? Those borrowing costs are driven by her lack of grip. She is paying more, you're saying us, she's paying more to borrow than Greece. She is paying more to borrow than at any point under the 14 years of Conservative government. Perhaps if Labour MPs read a book sometimes, they would know something. That includes an energy crisis, Madam Deputy Speaker. Under us, we had an energy crisis sparked by a war in Ukraine and
and a global pandemic. What is her excuse? What is her excuse? She is taking the public for fools, but they are under no illusions whose fault this is. The fact is, the bad choices she is making today, choices to break promises, choices to put up taxes, choices to spend more of other people's money, are because of the bad choices she made at the last disastrous budget. If you want growth, you need to start with knowing what kind of country you want to be and make a plan to get there. Create certainty for the people and businesses who will drive growth. There is no growth and no plan because Labour focused on settling scores and scratching the itches they had in opposition. She promised stability, she delivered chaos. Just look at the circus around this budget. First the leaks, then more leaks to try to undo the damage. Calling panicky press conferences, U-turning on her U-turns, rolling the pitch one day only to plow through it the next. She had the cheek to talk about stability, Madam Deputy Speaker. She has become the first Chancellor in history to release the whole budget ahead of time. This is extraordinary. It tells you everything you need to know about her grip on the Treasury. She's making the UK a shambolic laughingstock to international investors. And if she doesn't resign for breaking her promises, she should sure as hell go for this. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, what have we got for all this chaos and disorder? There are 1 million more people claiming universal credit than there were at the time of the last budget. Government spending, up. Welfare spending, up. Universal credit claimants, up. Unemployment, up. Debt interest, up. Inflation, up. And what about the things that you want to go up? What about the things you want to go up? Growth, down. Investment, down. Business confidence, down. The credibility of the Chancellor, and not just down, through the floor. These figures are shocking. Does she really think that anyone will be confused by the sleight of hand that she had in her speech? Her speech today was an exercise in self-delusion. Today, she had an opportunity to apologize and show some humility. Instead, we've been fed puff pieces in the Times and the FT showing a woman wallowing in self-pity, whining about mansplaining and misogyny. Madam Deputy Speaker, let me explain to the Chancellor. Woman...
Order. Colleagues need to simmer down, most definitely, and just breathe a little and allow the leader of the opposition to be heard. Leader of the opposition.
All we've had is wallowing in self-pity and whining about misogyny and mansplaining. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, let me explain to the Chancellor, woman to woman. People out there aren't complaining because she's female. They're complaining because she is utterly incompetent. Real equality means being held to the same standard as everyone else. It means being judged on results. Take her bright idea, the Office for Value for Money. It's been closed down because it didn't save a penny. In fact, it cost the taxpayer £1.6 million. You couldn't make this stuff up. Madam Deputy Speaker, I've identified a way to save taxpayers huge amounts of money by sacking just one person, the woman sitting opposite. The ex-chief economist of the Bank of England was not mansplaining. He wasn't mansplaining when he said the uncertainty around today's budget is the single biggest reason growth has flatlined. What did the Chancellor think would happen when she went on breakfast telly to do an emergency public service announcement? I interrupt your Cheerios to bring you this frightening message about income tax. And then, unbelievably, she changed her mind 3 days later. No wonder people are in despair. She says she wants people to respect her.
Order. Conservative colleagues are drowning out the leader of the opposition speech. So just be mindful, nobody will be able to hear her at home. Leader of the opposition.
Madam Deputy Speaker, she says she wants people to respect her. Respect is earned. She apparently quietly told Labour MPs this week, I'll show the media, I'll show the Tories, I will not let them beat me. Show us what? Making stuff up at the dispatch box, incompetence, chaos, and the highest tax burden in history. She said to them, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll be there on Wednesday, I'll be there next year, and I'll be back the year after that. God help us. She is spineless, shameless, and completely aimless. Talk to any business. Talk to any business. Talk to someone looking for a job. Unemployment is up every single month since Labour have been in office. They don't want to hear it, but it's true. They're shouting and complaining they cannot create jobs. It is the worst year for graduate recruitment on record. Are they proud of this? Companies like Merck and Ineos slashing investment plan.
Order. If you're on the front bench, I can obviously see you, Mr. Kyle. And there's no need for you to be chuntering this loud. They can see and hear you as well. Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. They don't want to hear the truth, but I'm speaking for all of those people out there who are sick of this government. Companies like Merck and Ineos are slashing investment plans. The construction sector has shrunk. How is that house building target going, by the way? I'll tell you, Madam Deputy Speaker, they are miles behind and won't even come close to what we achieved. Business confidence is at record lows. No wonder today future growth has been revised down in every year of the scorecard. The papers are reporting that 1 in 8 business leaders is planning to leave Britain. Even one of Labour's biggest ever donors, Lakshmi.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough. Feeling a vibe? Run with it. From can't look away to gotta have it. Make every detail yours. Bring out what's hot. Remove what's not. Crystallize it. Instantly set a tone that speaks in your voice to your audience. Keep moving. Your site grows with you. Add solutions that meet you where you are and take you where you want to go. Smooth to make, easy to love.
This is Labour's Britain. People who work hard, Madam Deputy Speaker, people who work hard and save hard to buy their homes get taxed more, while those who don't work, who in some cases refuse to work, get their accommodation paid for by taxpayers. And then to top it all off, because taxing your home, your car, your savings and your pension wasn't enough, she has, by her own admission, broken her manifesto promise on income tax. Because in the last budget, she said, and I quote, I am keeping every single promise on tax that I made in our manifesto, so there will be no extension of the freeze in income tax thresholds. She said in that budget that extending the threshold freeze would hurt working people and take money out of their payslips. But today, she has done exactly that. Why should anyone believe anything she's promised in this budget? And so where is the money going? Small changes to rail fares and prescriptions, these are distractions while she steals your wallet. The real story here, Madam Deputy Speaker, the real story is that Labour have lost control of welfare spending. Not only will working people have their tax thresholds frozen while benefits go up in line with inflation, not only have Labour abandoned reforms that would have saved the taxpayer £5 billion after pressure from these backbenchers, today they have added another £3 billion to the bill by scrapping the two-child benefit cap. We introduced that cap, Madam Deputy Speaker, because it means people on benefits have to make the same decisions about having children as everyone else. Even Labour voters know that it strikes the right balance between supporting people who are struggling and protecting taxpayers who are struggling themselves. Just this summer, the Chancellor admitted that lifting the two-child benefit cap was not affordable. But that was before the Prime Minister accidentally fired the starting gun on the race to replace him. So now he and the Chancellor are buying the votes of their own MPs with taxpayers' money. If she wants child poverty. She should stop taxing their parents and stop destroying their jobs. She congratulated herself on a new tax on landlords. Let me tell her this. Hiking tax on landlords will only push up rents. It will push landlords out of the market. The people who will suffer are the tenants. And then she talks about taxes on electric vehicles. These changes will hit rural drivers the hardest, but we know that Labour don't care about rural people. All this budget delivers is higher taxes and out-of-control spending. Nobody voted for this. The Chancellor must take responsibility. She chose to impose the jobs tax, driving unemployment higher month after month. She chose to abandon welfare reform, meaning the benefits bill is spiraling. She chose to spend more and more money she didn't have, leaving taxpayers to foot the bill. She is out of money, out of ideas, out of her depth, and she has run out of road. The country simply cannot afford a chancellor who can't keep her own promises. Her position is untenable, and she knows it. She's talking to the chancellor. Is he mansplaining to you, by the way? Is he mansplaining? Do you want some help? Would you like some help? What the Prime Minister should do is grow a backbone and sack her. But he won't, because he knows if she goes down, he goes down with her. So we're stuck with them both, Laurel and Foolhardy. Does she have any sympathy for the people facing Christmas without a salary because of her jobs tax? For the retailers who are suffering sleepless nights because of their plummeting Christmas sales? People out there are crying. Last year, we had the horrors of the Halloween budget. This year is the nightmare before Christmas. And as for her, she's the unwelcome Christmas guest. 10 minutes through the door, and she's eaten all the Quality Street, Madam Deputy Speaker. But let me tell the Chancellor something she has forgotten. Behind every line in today's Red Book is a family, a home, a lifetime of work and sacrifice. People are frightened, and they have every reason to be. The Chancellor has spent the last year terrifying them. Every decision that she and the Prime Minister make puts more pressure on the people who keep this country going. If Labour are the party of working people, why is it that every day under them, thousands more people are signing off work and onto benefits? It's Conservatives who are the party of work. The Labour Party should be renamed the Welfare Party. And they are making a mistake. The British public don't want higher welfare spending. They want people in work providing for themselves. They want to live in a country where hard work pays, where what you put in reflects what you get out. And we agree with them. There is an alternative. We Conservatives have set it out. This budget could have saved £47 billion, including £23 billion from welfare. She could have applied our golden economic rule, allocating half of those savings to cutting the deficit and using the rest to cut taxes. Oh, they're all pretending they're not listening. It's the shame of the mess they've made. It's the shame of the mess they've made.
Order. Mr. Vince. Mr. Thompson, you're so enthusiastic. I was worried you're going to knock Mr. War off his chair a moment ago, so we need to calm down and breathe, and we need to ensure that we can hear the Leader of the Opposition. Kemi Badenoch.
Even the dog is laughing at the Chancellor, Madam Deputy Speaker. She could have applied our golden economic rule, allocating half of those savings to cutting the deficit, using the rest to cut taxes. She could have abolished stamp duty on homes to get the housing market moving, abolished business rates on shops to breathe life into our high streets. She could have introduced our cheap power plan. It saves a lot more money than what she announced would bring down energy costs for homes and businesses. That's what she should have done. She should be on the side of people who get up and go to work, people who take a risk to start a company, people working all hours to keep their business afloat. She should be on the side of the farmer, trying to hand something over to the next generation. The investor, deciding whether to spend their money in the UK or elsewhere. She should be on the side of the young person, looking for their first job. The saver, doing the right thing and putting money away for a rainy day. The pensioner, trying to enjoy a decent retirement. This country works when you make the country work for them. Only side, Madam Deputy Speaker. And our plan for them is simple. Bring down energy costs, cut spending, cut tax, back business, and get Britain working again.
Colleagues are exiting. Can they do so quietly and quickly before we come?
Well, that was an absolutely savage response to the budget from Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch there, who'd obviously been given a little bit of extra time to prepare the normal because of the extraordinarily accidental release of the budget by the Office for Budget Responsibility earlier on. Rachel Reeves delivering her budget, and my goodness, it was a big one. Tax rises, I think probably the headline there, saying that, of course, £26 billion in tax rises were announced today, which means the tax burden is on course to hit an all-time high. An increase in welfare spending, scrapping the two-child benefit cap at a cost of £2.3 billion. Also, the total increase in welfare spending up around £90 billion by the end of the period in 2030. And some big moves on tax, as I mentioned too, freezing those tax thresholds for 3 years rather than the 2 that was expected. And the one that has really caught an awful lot of people's eyes is this limit on the salary sacrifice scheme, pension scheme, which is going to raise £4.7 billion, which I think pretty much suggests just how many people are going to be dragged into that. So it was a pretty seismic budget, I should say, and I think it's going to be a pretty controversial one as well. Let's bring in our political editor, Beth Rigby, and also our economics editor, Ed Conway, standing by. Beth, what are your reflections?
Well, look, I think the headlines tomorrow is going to be a chancellor that a year ago raised taxes by 40 billion is now coming back for another 26 billion pounds, taking the tax burden to an all-time high of 38% of GDP by the end of Parliament. And this a government that in the run-up to the election said, we are not going to be taxing, we will grow the economy. And she has had to eat her words there today. Living standards rising more slowly than expected. The welfare bill still going up. What is ringing in my head is when a cabinet minister said to me in recent days, this budget will be a budget for self-preservation and not for the country. And the reason that they were talking about that was that what Rachel Reeves also did there was she did what Labour MPs have been calling for. She has lifted the two-child benefit cap. It's very popular within her party. It's less popular in the country, with 60% of people polled opposed. And she's also targeted tax rises on some of the wealthiest in society. You've got that mansion tax levy. You've got the pension changes, which will hit higher earners. Overall, personal tax is going up by 15 billion. Other tax changes by 11 billion. The freeze in income tax thresholds, I think the biggest one, that raises 8.3 billion. And it is effectively breaking a manifesto pledge, particularly because the Chancellor, as Kemi Badenoch noted in the Commons, explicitly said she was not going to do that a year ago because, to quote her, it would hurt working people. And the tax rate on pension contributions will raise 4.7 billion. And really, Kemi Badenoch absolutely on fire there in the Commons, benefited, of course, because she had sight of this from this astonishing leak from the Office of Budget Responsibility. I have never seen anything like it. And it actually meant when the Chancellor stood up, no one was listening to her frame her budget because we knew what the headlines were. So she wasn't able to frame it in the way that she wanted to. Kemi Badenoch saying there it was a total humiliation. She said the Chancellor should resign. She said she has broken every single one of her promises. She said it was a budget for Benefit Street, paid for by working people. So it was pretty excoriating in the Commons there for Rachel Reeves, who must have had a really hard time standing up on her feet when her budget had been leaked. And she was a combination, I think, of utterly furious and probably just a little bit upset as well.
Yeah, it changed the atmosphere in there. I really think it felt much more kind of raucous.
Well, she'd also lost the room before she even got in.
Exactly.
Because normally we would hang on every word because we'd been trying to work out what she was saying, and we weren't even listening that hard because we'd already got the budget. This budget, this is it. We've now got the hard copy, and that has all the tax and spend measures in it, and it was leaked.
And look, when you're putting up taxes by £26 billion, then you need to be able to set the narrative. That's the least of your worries in normal times. Ed, what do the numbers say? What was the kind of projections? What's going on?
Well, I mean, we should probably start with the leak first of all.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've never experienced anything like it. I don't think there ever has been anything like it to have the entire contents of a budget to be. Leak is probably the wrong word. It was an accidental release.
Yeah.
An hour or so, well, actually, really kind of a couple of hours before it would have come out.
Technical mistake, I think.
We said, I'm kind of just looking at the markets as we speak. We said that we'd be looking at the markets just because of the fear of what happened after the mini budget and how are people going to react to it. What we certainly didn't expect is that there was going to be this kind of a moment where traders out there would be kind of all over the place. Let me quickly show you, because I mean, there's all sorts of charts, both about that, but also the kind of charts we'd normally be showing were it not for the leak. But as I say, start with the leak. This is just showing you, like I said, normally at this point I'm showing you the growth forecast from the OBR, but this something like this has never happened before. This is the government's cost of borrowing. It's the 10-year government bond yield, and that's where it was trading before that accidental release of the budget. And look at what happened afterwards. Look at how that just yo-yoed around. That is traders reacting to the news, trying desperately to pick up a copy of it or download a copy before it gets removed from the website, which eventually it was, and then going through it and trying to work out, is this going to be positive for the public finances? Is it going to be negative for the public finances? And we'll be updating that over the course of the coming hours, because actually, even since I made this chart, that started to trend downwards. So now this is looking like, actually that's kind of encouraging. The Chancellor would like that line to be down. She certainly wouldn't like it to be going all over the place, which is what it was for a period, because people were just reacting to something that had never happened before. But let's just kind of take a step back, a breath, and just remember what this budget ultimately was about, because we now have the numbers. We've got the big numbers. This is the growth forecast last time around. Economic growth, it's really important because it feeds into everything else. 1% this year, and then 1.9, 1.8, 1.7, 1.8. So kind of stronger off in the future, weaker in the short run. Here is the latest set of forecasts from the Office for Budget Responsibility. So it's a little bit better this year, actually quite a bit better this year, 1.5% rather than 1%. But look at the following years. Weaker, 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 and then 1.5 off in the final year of the forecast horizon. And take that all together, and then that feeds into a weaker growth forecast for the Chancellor. And weaker growth, by the way, that means there's less tax revenue coming in, which means that you're having to do more work to try and deal with this, the deficit. And when you're talking about the deficit, look, last time around, the higher these bars are, the more the government is borrowing. And actually, a lot of people thought the government was going to be borrowing less in the future. In fact, actually, the deficit, which is the key thing, is higher in the first year, the second year, the third year. It's only really at the end of this forecast that suddenly the deficit is looking better than it was before. And what does that tell you? It tells you that a lot of these measures we're just hearing about from the Chancellor, and we saw a bit in that OBR report, they're all quite distant. They kick in year 4 and year 5. And that's the kind of thing that, a lot of people might wonder whether it's actually achievable. But here, everything really in a nutshell is about the fact that the Chancellor was left with a bit of a problem. I mentioned those growth numbers a moment ago. She's got these fiscal rules, basically. She had £9.9 billion of headroom against her fiscal rules. Again, because the economy has been a little bit weaker than expected, that was eroded away, so by £5.7 billion. So all of a sudden that went, and she had to do something about it. And what did she do about it? She mostly did that. That's taxes. So that's £26.1 billion of taxes that are suddenly coming in, and then they get up to there. And I'll go to those taxes in just a second. And then because there's a little bit of extra spending, primarily on the two-child cap, that comes down by £3.9 billion. And then also the fact the economy just doesn't do as well when you're raising taxes on everyone. That means it's a little bit weaker. So she's left with more headroom than before, which is kind of why I think investors are out there probably going, well, this is better than we thought. But nonetheless, it's better because That's a lot of taxes. £26.1 billion of taxes. And final thing, I mean, I could go on forever, but I want to just break that down to show you the scale of what we're talking about here, okay? So breakdown, where are the taxes being felt, okay? So here's the breakdown. The biggest bits...
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
I now know why Monty was so stressed.
What's the plan here?
Landman, new season. Stream now. Only on Paramount Plus for $4.99 a month.
Surprise, and Sophie was referring to this a second ago. Salary sacrifice brings in £4.7 billion. That's basically pensions. That is most people, and it's many working people as well. Remember this phrase that the Chancellor likes to talk about. A lot of working people will be paying more in pensions because you're not getting that tax relief you were before. It kind of depends on how your scheme is operated. Property savings taxes, EV taxes, quite a lot of money. So if you drive an EV, suddenly you're going to be taxed a lot more than you were before. And interestingly, fuel duty stays frozen. EV drivers have to pay more. What's the environmental consequences of that? That's a pretty good question. We didn't get an answer. Gambling taxes. Here's one final thing. The mansion tax. So how many headlines have been devoted to the mansion tax in recent months? In the end, it only raises £400 million, which is kind of piddling compared with the rest of it. But take it all told. I'm going to stop now, Sophie, because otherwise I'll just end up kind of blathering on forever. But take it all in total, and that is a lot of money, a lot of tax that's just been raised now. And it's tax that's been raised in order to finance, A, the fact that there's a bit of a hole in the finances because the economy's not doing so well, but B, as Beth was saying earlier, there's more spending on welfare. And so it's higher welfare spending and then more taxing on the other side.
It's extraordinary. It really is. And a lot to digest with both of you. I did just want to bring you the latest that we've heard from the Office of Budget Responsibility, because Richard Hughes, who is the head of the ABR, has just arrived at the building ahead of the press conference that we're expecting at 2:30. We caught up with him. This is what happened.
Has today been embarrassing? A document was uploaded with our forecast in it on our website this morning. Too early. We've investigated. We launched an investigation into that. It will report to the Treasury Committee of Parliament and to the Chancellor. We apologise for the error. We'll take action to make sure it doesn't happen again. Thank you very much.
Is it something to resign over, Mr. Hughes?
Well, he didn't answer that final question about whether it's something to resign over, did he? But I think there's certainly a couple of people, there are a lot of people, in fact, who are pretty tight-lipped and unhappy about what happened with the inadvertent publication of the entire budget before Rachel Reeves had the chance to stand up and deliver it. She was furious in the House of Commons, it was pretty clear. Right, let's go live now, shall we, to the City. We can speak to Stephen Fine, who is the Chief Executive at Peel Hunt Investment Bank. Good to have you with us. What's your initial reaction then to what we've heard in the budget?
Well, other than the extraordinary scenes when the OBR accidentally leaked or published, I think, if anything, this feels very much like a buy now, pay later budget. And I think, as your presenter just before was explaining, an awful lot of this is backloaded towards the end of the 3-4 year period. Market seems to quite like the fact that there's plenty of headroom. Currency market's quite stable. Bond yields are coming down a little bit. FTSE 100's up 1% or so. FTSE 250's up 1% or so. So I think we've got a bit more stability now, and I think the headroom is probably something that people are focusing on.
Yeah, that's interesting, the headline, isn't it? Let's just kind of explain to viewers what it means. It's basically the money she's got spare, if you like, right, to kind of deal with kind of eventualities almost. Do you think that it might mean that, in the coming years we see a bit more of a kind of grown-up sort of politics rather than just hurtling from one sort of crisis to another?
I think myself and the rest of the market would very much like to see a bit more grown-up politics here. And today wasn't necessarily the best example in the run-up to this. But the sort of stop-start, the rationale behind the let's sort of fly a few kites, let's leak a few things, let's see what happens, see what the market thinks. We've got this limited amount of headroom, what do we need to do? The rampant speculation around that doesn't do anybody any harm, doesn't allow anyone to plan, doesn't allow anyone to feel there's any sense of stability. So hopefully this level of headroom will allow a lot more planning to take place.
There was an awful lot of tax rises in the budget, £26 billion worth of them, which are going to be very controversial. And it's pretty clear that Rachel Reeves went for, in the vast majority of cases, tax rises over cuts to spending to kind of balance the books. Do the markets really care whether it's tax rises or spending cuts, or is it just the kind of fiscal red line that they're looking at?
I'm not so sure the markets care that much about the exact specifics of where the taxes are going. personal preference would have been bite the bullet, put an income tax rise in, affect everybody, and then cut spending. That hasn't really happened. When you get a smorgasbord, tapas, whatever you want to call it, it's never going to please everyone. So there's plenty of headlines for all sorts of commentators to mull over today, tomorrow, and the weekend.
Really interesting to have you on the programme. Thank you so much for giving us your reaction there. Interesting to hear, I think, there that the markets, they're quite happy, it seems like, with that bit of headroom increase, a bit of stability that they'll be looking for. Though I'm not sure if the political stability, Beth, is going to be one that the Chancellor is going to be able to enjoy for much longer. I know you need to go off and do an awful lot more stuff today. And what's your kind of final thoughts before you go and do that?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that for a Chancellor that was already under a lot of pressure and there was a lot of political jeopardy around this budget, just the way in which it was leaked and the way in which she was unable to frame it just added to the sense of chaos around both this budget process with the leaks and the U-turns and then actually the delivery of it. And it was actually a terrible misfortune for her because this was beyond her control, which is why I think she seems so angry. But I think it all adds to this sense of a hopelessness about the government and kind of the momentum of this administration. And I think there was a lot at stake for the government today in terms of trying to get this budget across the line for the backbenchers. And I think that there will be unhappiness about just the mess of the day, even though that was beyond her control. The second thing I would say about it is that the dividing lines are now clear. Kemi Badenoch really did eviscerate the Chancellor there. And she was clear, you are funding Benefit Street to raise taxes on working people. You've broken your manifesto promises. And it was uncomfortable to hear her quoting back what the Chancellor had said about what they would do. And before the election, they said we would grow the economy so we won't have to tax people. And then they land a £26 billion tax-raising budget on top of a £40 billion tax-raising budget last year. So I imagine that the headlines are going to be very difficult for her tomorrow. The question, though, really was, what was the audience? We started off the day saying there's 4 audiences here. There's the markets, there's business, there's voters, there's Labour backbenchers. The markets at the moment seem quite stable because she's built this big headroom in. And what they like about that is she doesn't have to keep coming back for more tax rises and moving around. So that's tick, right? Apart from the volatility around, right? Business, I think that there will be grumbles about this, but there wasn't anything really brutal in terms of big tax. I mean, remember £25 billion in national insurance tax rises for employers last year. The party, the 2-child benefit cap, will be something that they will cling on to, and other measures that they can say, freezing rail fares, etc., that they will try it, freezing fuel duty that they try and sell on the doorstep. Voters, I think there's a trust deficit here. And this government is already polling really badly. The Chancellor and the Prime Minister are politically, polling-wise, more unpopular than any of their other predecessors. And in terms of what they promised people before the election and now, it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. People are going to be paying more tax. Ordinary working people without loads of money are going to be paying more tax. 8.3 billion on freezing the tax threshold, 4.7 billion on pension sacrifice. And yes, it hits higher earners because they might contribute more to pensions, but that is painful for working people that they said were in their mind's eye when they took decisions in this government.
Yeah, they said they wouldn't put up taxes on working people, and they have, basically, no matter how they try and spin it. And thanks, Beth. I have to say as well, the 3 of us have presented a few of these budgets now.
That was...
I'm still slightly in shock. Like, we got through the Liz Truss budget together. We did the last budget, which was a big one, because it was the first Labour budget in, like, however many years. But I don't think I've ever been prepared for a budget that was published by accident before.
The Liz Truss budget was the mini budget was definitely, it was an intense afternoon as we saw gradually the markets responding and seeing what was going on. What we didn't have is the shock and awe of this sudden surprise, and so that this was a different.
It came so quickly. You were still at the newsroom. You didn't even have time to come in.
But it's worth saying, this is not. Doesn't look like a Liz Truss moment. It does look like markets aren't fretting now. It just looks like it was a bit of a roller coaster over the course of the day.
But also the thing why that was so astonishing is what we do is when the budget comes out, we listen to the speech intently, trying to work out what she's saying.
Yeah.
We wait for this to arrive.
Yeah.
And this, so then we work out what it means. By which point she spent an hour framing the budget, and we have to try and unpack that. And it just got flipped on its head today, which means that everyone are forming opinions before she even gets to frame it. And actually, when you're a chancellor in quite a lot of political difficulty with a second difficult budget, it's like your second album, very difficult budget to land, to not be able to at least have the opportunity to frame it has just meant more pain for Rachel Reeves.
Beth, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much.
Let's go for a lie down.
I honestly,
press conference.
I hear you. Well, we're gearing up now because it's the Office for Budget Responsibilities press conference in like 10 minutes'
Which is
time.
not normally Blockbuster.
But it is now.
Get the popcorn out. It's going to be extraordinary. It really is. Now, we're also, of course, we've been analysing the economics. We've been analysing the politics. We're also trying to analyse the kind of consumer matters of it as well. We're joined by our Money Live reporter, Jess Sharp, and a panel of guests as well to try and answer your questions on that. Because look, with the budget, it's easy for us to get sucked into the absolute kind of roller coaster of the accidental release, to get into analysing what it means to Rachel Reeves, what the markets think, what the MPs think, but really what actually matters is how it's going to impact people right in their pockets.
Yeah, and I mean, it was crazy. The whole way that this budget has unfolded is a bit insane. And there are so many things that have been announced that are going to directly affect so many people. And it is, these things are sort of designed to be overly complicated and complex. And it's really important that we break that down to make it really easy for people to understand how this is going to affect them.
Can you do that with the pension changes? Because I think that is it's a huge amount of money for a start, right? As soon as you start talking about 4.7 billion, you realise just how many people are going to be impacted by this. A lot of people are going to be paying a lot more money to the tax man, basically. What is that policy all about?
Yeah, so with salary sacrifice, and it's really hard to figure out the numbers on how many people contribute to a pension using salary sacrifice. But at the last count, it was around a third of private sector workers that were using salary sacrifice to pay into their pension.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. And by putting this cap of £2,000 a year onto how much you can contribute through salary sacrifice into your pension just means you're going to end up paying more tax or potentially paying more tax. And whilst this is more likely to affect those like higher earners because they typically use salary sacrifice to reduce their income so they're protected by better tax rates. Even people who are earning sort of like £50,000 a year would
a lot of people might use it, right, as well, because it is a smart way of preparing for your future as well, and thinking that you're doing the kind of responsible thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we're already hearing that people aren't going to have enough in retirement. We've heard the phrase "we're sleepwalking into a retirement crisis" numerous times now, and this isn't going to help that.
I guess
in any way.
A lot of people are just going to change their behaviour, aren't they, as well? This is the thing, right? So I think it's quite hard for them to really work out how much they're going to raise from this as well, because I would imagine that, if you don't get the tax break, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you know what, I'm not going to bother doing this. I'll just put it into a savings, or I'm going to buy a property or whatever it is.
I suspect that might be what's going on, because if you look at the years, so they think they're going to raise about 4.7 billion the first year, but the following year it's much lower. So I expect they're kind of anticipating people are going to kind of shift their plans. And, as you're saying, not save as much in the future.
Yeah.
But for me, what's striking, and we've all talked about this a bit earlier on, is I think for a lot of people they'll be taken by surprise by this, because they won't have been aware that the way that their system, if you work in the private sector, if you've got a pension scheme, there is a really good chance that it is a salary sacrifice scheme without you even kind of pressing a button. You're part of this. And so the fact that you're now being taxed quite a lot more, and those numbers are big, they're
It's a
big,
lot of
aren't
money.
they, if you're dividing them by number of
It's
people.
definitely a reminder to go and check how you pay into your pension,
Yeah.
isn't it? And to, make sure you're clued up on it.
The other one is ISAs as well, because there's changes to ISAs, aren't there, that is going to impact people too, right?
Yeah, so at the moment, before the budget, you could put £20,000 into a cash ISA, and that would be tax-free. Any interest that you earned on that would be tax-free. What Rachel Reeves has announced today is that that is going to be cut to £12,000. That won't come in. We've got a few years until it comes in, so it's not something that will immediately affect people now. And if you've already got money into your ISA, the likelihood is it won't be affected. It will be on new funds that you deposit. But even that, it's the move is hoped that more people will put money into stocks and shares ISA.
Why do they want people to do that, by the way? Is there a reason behind that, or?
Well, they're very keen to boost investment. They're keen to get people to put more money into shares.
In businesses, basically.
So there was this running question, wasn't there, ahead of this budget and previous budgets, as to whether there would be a kind of UK, like a Brit ISA, and so you would be encouraged to just put money into British stocks.
Yeah.
But they haven't gone that far.
No.
But they're keen to shift it. But exactly like you say, in the process, you're discouraging people from putting cash into their bank accounts. And again, it's the signal that sends.
And a lot of it is optics as well, isn't it? It's lots of people aren't going to take the time to delve into the changes. They're just going to hear cash ISAs aren't as good as they used to be, and that could, instead of moving their money into a stocks and shares ISA, it could cause them to just withdraw and try and go for a safer option.
This is it, because some people just, are just, particularly if you're not someone who's, money matters to you, which lots of people does, you want to go for the more secure thing, right? So a lot of people prefer that, right, don't they? So it's difficult. We're waiting for the Office for Budget Responsibilities news conference. That's expected to come in just a few minutes' time, so do not go anywhere, because it's going to be one to watch this year after that extraordinary revelation. Stay with us, because I've actually got a whole list of things that I'm keen to...
Can I mention one thing? The thing I'm...
Of course, always, Ed.
Well, it's just like there's quite a big thing that's happening behind the scenes here, which is that there's a tax on electric vehicles, which has just come in.
Yes.
And they're raising quite a lot of money with it. And at the same time, they're kind of freezing fuel duty. And this is something that, a lot of people, the OECD, have been going on about for a long time. At some point, you have to deal with the fact that you've got all these people on the road with their EVs. They're not paying VED, fuel tax. They are paying VED now. And as a result of that, you're going to run out of money. There's lots of money that comes in fuel duty. And so quietly, not quietly, because it was announced here, but this is a massive shift that's happening behind the scenes here. And I don't even know, how are they going to work out how many miles anyone is driving at the moment?
Yeah, I don't think that's super clear at the moment.
Because we've never had something like that in this country before, I don't think. And it's not like they're going to be kind of, snooping on how many miles you're driving. So
yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of administration involved, I think, in a lot of these measures that mean it might well work out and you might raise money from it, but you might raise a lot less than you thought you were raising before.
Let's just have a quick look at the live shot coming in here from the Office for Budget Responsibility news conference. You can see there Richard Hughes, the head...
Sick of mould in your bathroom? No problem. HG Mould Spray gets rid of mould the first time. It's self-acting, so no scrubbing needed, and it works in just 30 minutes. Also available in a targeted mould remover foam spray. Find HG in the cleaning aisle. HG does what it promises.
Conversations will almost certainly be going on, and he's going to be facing questions about that today, isn't he, as well as all of the usual predictions too. The OBR, interestingly, now kind of downgraded themselves to only one report a year rather than two, perhaps a political decision from the government there as well. Well, it looks like we're just a few moments away. I'm just going to get a very quick thought from...
Welcome to the OBR's press conference for our November 2025 economy and fiscal forecasts. I'm Laura Gardner, Chief of Staff, and I'll be chairing today's event. I'm joined by the three members of the Budget Responsibility Committee, the Chair Richard Hughes, Professor David Miles, and Tom Josephs. In a moment, Richard will run us through a summary of the forecast we've just published, after which the committee will take questions from both those here in the room with us today and those joining us online. Those watching online can submit questions at any time on Slido via the link on our website. Before that, I should start by thanking, on behalf of the committee, staff from the OBR, Treasury and across government for their expertise, flexibility and perseverance in putting this latest forecast together. Of course, all the analysis and conclusions continue to represent the BRC's own independent judgments. With that, let's hear from Richard.
Thanks, Laura, and good afternoon, everyone. Before I turn to the substance of our forecast, let me start with an apology. A link to our economic and fiscal outlook document went live on our website too early this morning and was subsequently removed. We apologise to the Chancellor, members of Parliament for this technical error and have initiated an investigation into how this happened. It will be reporting to our Oversight Board, the Treasury and the Commons Treasury Committee on how this happened and how to make sure it doesn't happen again. Let me now turn to the substance. Starting with the economy, the productivity performance of the UK economy has continued to undershoot our forecasts, despite several significant downgrades since 2010. And continued sluggish productivity growth, seen years on from the shock of the pandemic and energy crisis, suggests that the sharp rebound we've been expecting is unlikely to materialise. Therefore, following our summer supply stock take, we further revised down our estimate of the underlying trend rate of productivity growth by 0.3 percentage points. As you can see from this